Awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna do a quick little introduction of who Taylor is, why we're super excited to have her on the call. In case I know that some of y'all are on a different leg, or you may not know Taylor, but Taylor is a senior gold here with Plexus. She's working her way up the line. But the one thing super unique about Taylor is if you go find her on social media, it's very obvious to see that she's built a very loyal following. Not just kind of like one of those things where you post a reel and everyone flocks to you. You see that a lot on accounts, but I think it's safe to say that Taylor's followers know her. They really enjoy following her. They've gotten to know her. She's put a lot of work into just really authenticating her content and branding herself. Um, and so we're really excited that she agreed to get on and just share some of the things that she's learned along the way, the tips she knows, and that you guys will be able to kind of take it and run with it and use it to build up your own social media, whether that's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I know she's going to have a lot of great stuff to offer us. So thank you so much, Taylor. It is all yours.
Awesome. Well, I'm super stoked to be on chatting with you guys tonight. Social media has kind of become something of a love of mine. And so I want to share with you guys how I have used that to help grow my Plexus business. So yeah, starting out, I've been doing Plexus for about, I guess, not almost a year. I started in January. Jamie finally convinced me. I was very skeptical in the beginning and I absolutely fell in love with the products. And like Katie said, I've kind of built myself a following, not really on purpose. I never wanted to be like a quote unquote influencer. I just decided to start sharing my truth and my life and everything that I wanted to on social media. And people seem to like that. So, one of the first points that I kind of want to like make for you guys, because social media can be a huge, 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 huge tool for Plexus. Obviously, word of mouth is huge, but when people are seeing you and seeing the way that Plexus is changing your life every single day, they start to get interested, whether you have 100 followers or 100,000 followers. Um, so one of the first things I wanted to touch on with like making social media effective for you in your Plexus business is engagement. A lot of times there's like you'll hear people talk about the algorithm, like the Instagram, Facebook algorithm, whatever. There's a lot of truth to that. So you may not be super active on Instagram posting 3, 4 times a week, but what you can do is engage with other people, even if it's just other girls who do Plexus. So when you engage more with your account, whether it's liking posts, sharing other people's posts to your stories, sharing quotes that you find, making little videos during the day, whatever it is, the more you engage with other people, the more your account is going to start to pull up in other people's algorithms. So, with that being said, just like in follow ups with your Plexus customers, consistency is key. And I know social media isn't comfortable for a lot of people. When I first started out 2 years ago, I heard a girl on TikTok say, nothing is more awkward than talking to your 100 followers like you're an influencer before you're an influencer. But you have to take every single social media post like people are wanting to hear what you have to say. People are, even if you have only a couple followers, like you have to kind of act like you're already in that space where you have a following where people, want to see what you have to say in order to reach that point. So even if it means getting a little uncomfortable out of the box, if you can share even your daily Plexus regimen, wake up in the morning, like show yourself making your pink drink, show yourself like your little product setup. That kind of stuff is going to get people like thinking like, what is that? Because we get a lot of great graphics, we get a lot of great testimonies, we get a lot of great stuff from Plexus. But what I've found the most effective is people seeing you use it in your everyday life. And so the consistency with that, showing you taking it every single day, people are bound to be like, okay, like this girl, this guy, they're taking this every day. This must really work. This isn't just some fad. She's not posting it one time to get paid or, just to throw it out there. You want people to see it in your everyday life. Even if it seems repetitive, I promise it's not, because I have had multiple gals who, you can see them view your story. They'll send a little heart like to your story or like your Facebook post. I've had girls wait 6 months before actually reaching out to me and saying, hey, I've seen what this has done for you. I'm ready to hear more about it. So even if you don't right away get like a lot of traffic or a lot of traction, like, hey, what is that? Do not give up on it, because some people are a slow burn. And that's one thing that consistency is going to like really help you with. Another thing is, like, social media went through a phase where it was a lot of perfectly curated feed posts. Like, I know Facetune was a big thing. People only shared like the good parts of their life. I have found that, especially when sharing Plexus, a lot of like before and after photos, just saying like, hey, I was up all night with my baby. I'm actually sick right now and my baby's super sick and I'm in day 2 of a reset. So that kind of threw me for a loop. But being able to say like, hey, my life is kind of a mess right now, but these products are just really helping me get through that. People are going to relate to that a lot more than just like, I'm paying my car payment this month with this. Come join me. Come join me. It's like, hey, I am down in the dumps. My baby's not sleeping. I used to chug 4 Red Bulls a day, but you know what? This product has absolutely changed my life. And there's going to be someone out there that relates to you in the way that Plexus has changed your life. So don't ever think like that your journey with Plexus isn't important or it's different than others, because I promise you there are going to be people that relate to your specific story. And you're just going to have to get a little uncomfortable. Social media is kind of about putting yourself out there and not really caring what other people think. So if you're in the middle of a store and you see a Red Bull can and you want to pick up a Red Bull and be like, I used to drink these all the time, you guys, look at these nutrition facts. Like, these were absolutely horrible. And then you can tie that into now, Active is my absolute favorite product. This, and this, say what you want about it. And if I'm rambling, you guys, I'm so sorry. I'm a little bit of a scatterbrain. so, so I have a lot that I want to share with you guys in a short amount of time, because I also want to open it up for questions as well, because there's probably things that I'm not thinking of that you guys want to see. But yes, the curated everyday posts are really, really one of the things that I post a lot more on my stories than I do on my feed posts, because my stories have super high engagement. Because you guys, if you follow me, I run a little vintage Western resale as well. So my engagement is high because I'm posting all the time. But you've got to think of it like Plexus is a job. You get as much out of it as you put into it. So if you want to see those people coming in and engaging with your stories, you've got to do it every day. And I wanted to share another thing that really has worked for me with Plexus, because to be honest, you guys, when I first started Plexus, I already had like a medium-sized following, and I was really worried that people were going to think that I was like that network marketing girl, like that I was going to be like sending those cold messages like, hey girl, like, I know I haven't talked to you since high school, but I think you'd be really awesome at this. Like, I was really, really nervous about that. You can ask Jamie Burnside. I was like, dude, I don't want to do that. Like, I already have a following, I already kind of have a brand. And so I think it's super, super important that, like, touching back to what I already said, you're showing it in your everyday life. And so when I post stories, I'll post Plexus in my daily life. I'll maybe throw in one of those awesome graphics that Plexus is so generous about providing for us. And then what I like to do is offer a poll. I obviously use Instagram more than any other social media. I believe you can also do a poll on Facebook stories. But when you offer a poll, I'll be like, share this month. I'll share about Triplex, blah, 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 and be like, who wants to get started? And then I'll do an option that says, me, I'm ready to go. And an option that says, please send me more info. That way, you're allowing the people that are engaging with your stories to be the ones that are reaching out to you. And sometimes I'll have 50 people swipe up or reach out and be like, me, and I'll have 10 of them actually respond to me. But like I said, down the road, some of those girls that clicked on that story before will actually end up reaching out to me and saying, hey, I'm actually ready to engage and learn about Plexus. So just everything I've touched so far, be consistent, be authentically yourself, and don't ever be afraid to put yourself out there, because I was super self-conscious about my body postpartum. I've got an 11-month little girl, And I sat with those before and after pictures from Plexus for about 4 months because I was like, I don't really know, like, this is not really something that I normally share. Like, I do a lot of fashion content or like cowboying content. But when I posted those before and after photos, I had literally 150 DMs, and obviously not 150 of those girls signed up for Plexus that week, but I had those women thinking, I had those people thinking like, hey, like this worked for her. Planting that seed and putting a bug in someone's ear is a lot more important than you think because Plexus, I've explained this to so many people. Plexus isn't a like get rich quick scheme. It's not a fad diet. It's not something where you're going to lose 20 pounds and look snatched in your bikini after taking it for 2 weeks. Social media is the same thing. You may feel disappointed because some months you're going to be seeing a ton of engagement, a ton of likes, so many new followers. Same thing as Plexus. Some months you might have girls that are on fire. They seem to like, you don't really have to work as hard. Like they're just ready to go. They're ready to trust you and trust the process. And then on the other end of it, you have months where you're like, man, this outfit is so cute. It is going to pop off. And then no one really likes it. And then you have months of Plexus where you're super stoked and super excited to get the ball rolling and girls are ghosting you. It's the same thing. Like you just have to treat it like your baby and nourish it and keep feeding that flame because I don't think people really understand how much it can take your business to the next level just by being consistent with it. So that's kind of like my main stuff. I don't want to like talk too much or talk about myself too much. I just really genuinely think that being yourself and allowing the people who follow you to grow a relationship with you personally, like I literally went to the thrift store today and I got on and I told people when I got at the thrift store and it seems so lame. I've been sick, so I haven't really been on social media a lot. And so many girls messaged me. So it's just about those little things. Like you don't think people care about your life, but start acting like an influencer to gain that engagement. And I promise you, people out there are going to be like, man, like I love relating to you. Oh, thank you, Amy. But just stuff like that. Like it seems silly at first, but it's absolutely been so helpful in every aspect of my life. And so if you guys don't have questions, that's totally okay. And I can keep talking. I could talk for hours, honestly. But if you guys have any questions, I would like to open it up so that I'm able to like answer some of your questions if you have any. And if you don't, that's okay. I won't be offended. So, yeah.
I have one or two
Okay, let's hear it.
questions. Um, first one is, can you maybe share like how you edit your photos? Like what platform do you use? All of that, because they all look really good, and I don't know how to do that.
Thank you. So I use Lightroom. You can download it for free on your phone. If I now pay $50 a month because then you get access to like a ton more tools. You can choose to do that if you'd like. But what I do in Lightroom is I started out just literally Googling presets for Lightroom. That will bring up like tons of websites that are options. I paid $5 for a preset pack because what presets do is they make everything on your feed and all of your content just look crisp and put together and professional. So I spent the $5 and it gives you a step-by-step tutorial on how to upload it into your Lightroom mobile app. And if you guys have questions, I can always also do a screen recording of how to do that and then post it in whatever group you guys want me to. But once you have bought like a preset pack in Lightroom, what's really fun is you can start playing around. There's options like changing the saturation or the color, or some people like blue tones more than warm tones. That's kind of getting a little bit more into it. But Lightroom makes all of your content look so professional. So that's my recommendation for what to use when like editing content. Because even when you're posting to your stories, if things look pretty and put together and crispy and like you put time into it, people are gonna like hold down on your story and read what you have to say versus if it's just some quick snapshot that doesn't really matter. And I've found with Plexus, if I go outside and take a pretty photo of one of my horses or a sunset or whatever, and I edit it in Lightroom, even if I'm not talking about anything that has to do with that photo I took, an attractive photo is gonna bring users into reading what you actually have to say. So there's that. I use Lightroom.
That's so helpful. I love Lightroom, and I think that's a really great tip to get the presets and then play with it, because I'm no expert with Lightroom, but that's how I learned. I was like, oh, what are these presets? I have a
Yeah.
question. So
Okay.
it sounds like you know a ton, like I know nothing about the algorithms, and so I was really stoked to hear you talking about this, but I had something happen with my Instagram, and I guess I'm just like kind of looking for confirmation because this has been like kind of plaguing in my memory. So this is kind of funny backstory. The gal that bought a horse from us that we just sold at a sale, she's like, "Oh, I bought the horse because I follow you on Instagram and I saw like one of your reels and then I saw him here and I just had to have him." I'm like, "Oh, I didn't know you followed me." And so she told me her name. I found her. Come to find out, I follow her too. But of course, through that process, she starts posting stories of the horse, and like, of course, we love him. So I'm like, I had gone and found her and like commented on like one of her stories. Well, now she like pops up like first in my stories lineup all the time now. And I'm like, I didn't
Hmm.
even know. So is that kind of, I guess, because there was engagement between, that's how Instagram, because I'm like, man, I really need to go through and start looking for new accounts because I'm always so aggravated. I'm like, it's the same accounts in my stories lineup. Why is it? So that's, I
Yep.
guess, your point to why it's so important to go to new accounts, even if you're following them and try to engage with them.
Yep. Exactly. Like I actually have a list on my laptop. Obviously, I work with brands, and so I kind of have to do this. But Instagram right now sucks. If you go to your normal following feed, it's going to not be in chronological order. It's going to be a lot of ads. If you actually go to the top left-hand corner of your Instagram feed and click on the word Instagram, you can choose an option that says following. When you do that, it's going to reset your home feed to only the people you follow, and it's going to go back to chronological order. So that way, you're not going to miss your friends' posts, your businesses that you work with. So that's like a big kind of Instagram secret, which they don't think anybody knows. And it sucks because it's pushing a lot of that paid content and stuff that you don't really care to see. But yes, that's 100% what I'm talking about when I'm talking about engagement. So like accounts that you like and accounts that you want to come up for you, the more you comment on their posts, like their posts, share their posts to your own story, because that's a big thing also. And it's a lot to do with like Western content creation. If I fall in love with someone's stuff, I'm going to share their content on my page, and in turn they're going to start sharing my content, and then your following grows because their followers see your stuff, vice versa, blah 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 blah. That's why it's so important to engage with the people that you want to share your stuff as well, because it's kind of an unwritten rule in like content creator world that when someone engages with you, you do them the same solid and you engage with them. So if we could create that culture around like Plexus, that would be super cool too, because think about like, obviously we all have our own girls like sign up, but like people are obviously going to gravitate towards the people that they know personally, if they're wanting to reach out and things like that. But the more you get that out, like the more you show people like, hey, this is what I'm doing, this is in my everyday life, people are going to say, oh, I saw Taylor do that, oh, I saw Jamie do that, I saw Katie do that, wow, now I follow all these gals that take Plexus, that's so cool, now I see this community, you know what I mean? So it's cool because that way when you're engaging in the accounts that you want to see, you're going to see that kind of content, and it's going to be the same thing, they're going to share yours as well. And that takes us back to hashtags. I know hashtags are kind of like 2010, they started on Twitter, but when you post, whether it's your story or your Instagram feed or even your Facebook, hashtags pull your content into a specially like curated group of posts. So like if I'm a Western content creator, I'm going to go search the hashtag Western style or vintage Western style, and it's going to pull up every single post that has the hashtag vintage Western style. So like a lot of hashtags I use like for Plexus are like health and wellness, like gut health, gut company, active moms, healthy moms, like active lifestyle, just like things that are gonna pull Plexus into like the group that you want to see it, like the people that are generally looking for like health conscious moms, or like I even have used crunchy moms before, because that's like a big trending term right now, is like crunchy moms, like people who want to have clean products. And to be completely honest, you guys, moms are the people that are my consistent customers, that show up every single month, that aren't going to order and then tell me, hey, I have to cancel because I don't have the funds right now, and then buy a $200 jacket from me the same week. Like, I feel like the moms have just prioritized their health and wellness a little bit more than some of my like younger aged followers. And so I use a lot of those hashtags because those are the people that have showed up for me and stayed consistent with their Plexus subscriptions. So if you post on Instagram, you can post in your caption, but this is another weird hack. If you are the first person to comment on your own post, you tag yourself and then you do all your hashtags as a comment, like underneath your post, which is kind of goofy, but that's something that I've found that has brought like more engagement. And also another Instagram hack, if you save a post, even if you never look at it again, when you save someone's post, it boosts their engagement and it brings their stuff into your feed. So like anytime I see like Jamie or anyone post, I immediately, before I even know what it is, save it, because I know that's going to help boost her engagement. So that's another little Instagram hack for you guys.
So do you mix your hashtags like for your business, for your Western stuff and your Plexus together, no matter what the post is, or do you keep them like separate for whatever you're posting?
A lot of times I keep it separate. But my last post that I did with Plexus, it was a post about me. I just moved back to Mesquite, so I'm really excited. I'll be back with Jamie every day, and Jamie will be able to have Plexus parties together. But I just moved back and I made a post about just being thankful to be able to work from wherever I'm at. And in those hashtags, I just do a lot of my Western stuff, then I do my lifestyle stuff. But that's why, because my platform is mostly geared towards Western content creation, most of my hashtags that I use and stuff are still just like Western lifestyle, ranch life, like mom life, healthy mom, like stuff that can kind of go both ways. Because like I said, I'm going to be honest, you guys, I never want to be just the girl that posts about Plexus all the time. So I make sure that I am mixing it up, because as somebody who does social media for like a living now, I don't want to see the same thing every day. If a girl is working with a million boutiques and all she posts is staged photo shoots in boutique clothing, I don't really want to see that. Like, even if her clothes are cute, like I want to see women in their everyday lives with their kids, with their supplements, doing their hobbies, like everyday life. So I try to mix it up and just include bits and pieces. And I don't know if everybody's familiar with what a photo dump is, but if you don't want to post about Plexus in your feed all the time, like, hey, here's me drinking my Plexus, like next to another post, like, here's me making a drink, you can do what's called a photo dump. And it's basically bits and pieces of your life. And some people might think it's kind of stupid, but it's actually my favorite thing to do. And it's actually the most engaged posts that I can do. So I'll do like my baby on a horse, like my favorite vintage finds that I just found at the thrift store, me holding my Plexus like in front of the arena, like Riley roping, then me in a cute outfit. And so it's just basically a dump. It's really what its name is, a photo dump. Like pictures you've taken from your camera roll that make you happy, that tell a little mini story about like who you are. A lot of people I know do monthly photo dumps. So all your favorite pictures that you've taken like from the month of August, you'd be like August dump. And so that's a way to get your followers to like engage with who you are and like your lifestyle. And then when you edit them with Lightroom and they all look super cute and crispy and like professional, something that seems simple, like you holding your Plexus in front of like a beautiful sunset while you're on a road trip, you might be like, who wants to see that? But when it's, you know, done in Lightroom next to a bunch of other cool photos, people are like, oh, cool. Like, yeah, Plexus is part of her daily life. I love that. So I think that it helps to mix it in with all of your other stuff, because that allows people to engage with who you are, like as a person, everything about you, and you don't just become that girl that's always pushing product like all the time. Do you know, does that make sense? Sorry, I talk so much, you guys, like I never shut up ever.
No, I really love that. And I think what's really, if you guys have not gone and like looked at Taylor's Instagram, Taylor, maybe if you could drop your handle in the chat, then those
Yeah.
have not seen it. But I think what's really neat is when people come in, like some gals, not everyone, but when some people come in to this, they're like, I don't want to post about Plexus. Oh my gosh. And what's really neat, if you look at Taylor's page, she kind of mentioned it. She's built her platform around her like the Western fashion, her vintage pieces, like putting outfits together, and like her photo dumps. I don't know, I had to laugh when she brought that up because I look for when someone puts a photo dump, I'm like, oh, I want to look, like, because you're genuinely interested in the people's lives that you care about. And like, even though I've never met Taylor in real life, I'm like, oh, what's Taylor been up to, right? And so I'm really glad she mentioned that. But one thing, and maybe Taylor, you could like kind of talk more about this or just like confirm it, but what's really neat is you don't see a ton of Plexus in her Instagram feed. Like it might be in a photo dump, it might be in like a carousel. Like she's really branded her Instagram to be more towards like the clothing and the fashion and her cowboy lifestyle, but she really stays active in her stories. And I think like with what she's saying with her engagement, that allows even more people to see her stories. But I mean, it works just as good, right? I mean, so those of you who are
Yeah,
like, I mean, you still have to post and build like I guess a brand is right, but
I
you can
love that.
resort to your stories.
Yes. So the other thing about stories is your stories come up, and I don't really like know why this is, but when you post a lot of stories, people who don't follow you like can still see your stories, like when they search like your hashtags and all that stuff. And to be honest, like as someone who is a first-time mom trying to figure this out, trying to run a business, trying to like still take care of everything else in my life, a lot of times when I pop on Instagram, what I do is bop through my stories. Like I don't always have like a ton of time until it's like 3 in the morning and I'm having to pump and no one is grabbing onto me or bothering me. That's when I'll go through my actual feed. But it's almost a convenience thing. Like Instagram has adapted, like those stories are huge. Like I'm gonna click through, I'm gonna see what my friends are up to. Stories provide more of like a day-to-day update, whereas like a lot of people don't physically post on their story or on their feed every single day. Because I'm not going to post on my feed unless like I set up my tripod or I have like a good photo that deserves to be on my permanent feed. So more of like my everyday life, like my everyday adventures, like my come along with me and see what I'm up to is all in my stories. And like I don't know about you guys, but that's literally what I crave about social media. It's like Katie said, like I want to see what you guys are doing every day. Like I don't know if it's just because I am like an introverted extrovert and since I have a baby, I'm like by myself a lot, but I'm like, I crave that social, like feeling like I see you guys and I'm like knowing what you're doing. And so stories, at least most people that I follow, and I've found that it really works for me. Like it's just easy to engage. Like you don't have to scroll, like it's right there. And you can honestly click through them if you don't want to see them. But it's just a fun, easy way to keep up to date with everybody. So that's where I'm saying, like, if you literally don't want to post a feed post about Plexus every single day, or you think like, oh, this may get mundane. If I'm like, started my day off with Plexus, you guys, like, I'm gonna make this pink drink. I'm gonna bring one to Riley before he goes to work because it's so awesome. Like Harper kicked my butt last night. Can't wait to be feeling good and not have to crash later. Like, let me know if you guys want to know about it because it's freaking awesome. Like, just stuff like that. Like, it doesn't have to be professional. It doesn't have to be thought out. You can literally just be authentically yourself. Like I posted a story today and I am a little bit of a potty mouth. So sorry if you don't follow me and you don't like that, but just a forewarning, I don't have a filter. It's just my 100% real life. But I said today, I'm sick. I went thrifting. It's my second day of my Plexus like reset, you guys. If you want to know more about that, let me tell you, because kicking my ass, I'm literally starving. Like, and people were like, what the heck is a reset? Like, you know what I mean? They're like, why are you doing this? Like, you're sick. And I'm like, listen, it's what's good for my body. Like, it's amazing. You should see these testimonies from these other girls. And it just opens the door. Like, people don't even know that they want to know about Plexus until they're like, why is this literal crazy woman taking this stuff every day? Because this is like kind of weird. I don't know how it happened, but before I started Plexus and before I got pregnant with my daughter, I drank like 4 Red Bulls a day. Not that I need it, obviously, but it like became a part of like my brand, like who I was. I cowboyed and I'd smoke a Marlboro Red and I'd chug a Red Bull and people would literally eat it up. And I don't know why. I literally look back at it now and I'm like, so unhealthy. No wonder I felt like shit all the time. But now it's like part of my thing is people are like, dude, this girl used to have a coconut Red Bull in every photo dump. Every time she posted she was going cowboying, she was chugging a Red Bull. I have literally not drank a Red Bull since January when I started Plexus. That is crazy. People are like, no way. This obviously has to work because this girl is drinking them all the time. So, like, you would never think that your followers care that you're drinking a Red Bull every day. But people, when I stopped drinking Red Bull, were genuinely like, how are you literally surviving? Because you used to drink 5 Red Bulls a day. So it's just stuff like that. Simple everyday stuff. People want to engage with you. Your life is a lot more interesting than you think it is to random strangers on the internet. I'll never understand why, but I'm the same way. Like, I haven't met a lot of you guys, but I'm always like, oh, like, I want to see what's going on. Like, how's everybody doing? So just put yourself out there, post the stuff that doesn't even seem relevant to your stories because people eat that up. So, yeah.
So good. Lots of great information. We're kind of rolling into 30 minutes. Does anybody have any questions still that they want to ask or quiz? Oh, I think we got one. Randy. Oh,
There we go.
There-
Okay, sorry, I couldn't get it unmuted. My question was, do you have a business? Is your Instagram account a business account? Or
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And I would recommend everybody change their Instagram to a business account if you're going to be promoting Plexus, because pretty much what that does, you don't have to like be an official business, but it allows you to track your engagement. It'll give you post analysis on every single thing you post. It'll allow you to see just like what's working and what's not working. It also is going to pull your feed to the explore page a lot more because Instagram is all about like business now. It's a lot of like shopping, business, like get it out there, creators. Like Instagram wants to promote creators, not just like people that don't care about it. So I would highly recommend everybody change their profile to a business profile, even if it's just to get your Plexus content out there and allow you to see like what's working for you, what's not working for you.
yes. And I want to like touch on something real quick. And Taylor, you can probably like maybe like you might have something to say for this, but like so often we're like, Sharmi will probably watch the recording, but I've used her as an example. She was like, I don't know if I want my Instagram to be public, like back in the day. And the one thing, you know, somebody might be watching this that's like, well, I don't know if I want to make my Instagram public. I put my kids on there. And like, I think the only way to go about that is you have to be real about it. Like, do you want to build a business? Plexus is mainly online, right? We're online. That's how we see people and we leverage social media. And so I watched a training one time and the gal was just like, make your page public. Like, yes, if you're worried about your kids, blur out their faces. Don't be putting no addresses on there. Like nobody, like I think there's a line between being reasonable and like, but that was the one thing and you kind of hit on it. You're going to see so much more. I have people that like, I've never even thought would have exist that find my posts through weird little channels. And so, and that's because it's public. So that's the only thing too, and that you kind of already touched on it, but I think that's, oh, have you guys gotten hacked? I don't think.
So is there a big difference though between it being a public feed and it being, or like your public page and it being a business page?
Yeah, so what's going to happen when you make your Instagram public is it's going to pull it into the Explore tab. People are going to be able to see your content from your hashtags. You're going to come up in suggested profiles, like when people who are like friends of friends like follow someone, it'll come up in like suggested. And so, like Katie said, it's totally personal preference. But as far as engagement goes, you're going to get a lot more engagement from a public profile just because also the thing is even if someone's like people who don't know me follow me. I obviously don't know almost 23,000 people. And 90% of my followers are women. That's why I'm more comfortable. If a weird or creepy guy or like a profile that doesn't have a picture or whatever follows me, I just instantly block them. And Instagram now has a feature where it's when you go to your followers, there's a section that says spam likely or scam likely. and it'll highlight like quote unquote bot accounts or like these people that are like potential hackers or whatever. And you can click a button that deletes all of them from being able to follow you. But I try every single day to go through my new followers. And if there are people that are like bots and stuff, obviously I miss some. But if they're like a weird, creepy dude or someone wanting to be my sugar daddy in my DMs or anything, I just instantly block them because I do obviously post pictures of my daughter. I try to keep them like tasteful and stuff. I had someone swipe up one time and be like, when you post your kid in your diapers, like it's bad. Like, and so that kind of freaked me out for a second. And I've been more mindful of that. But I run a business, whether it's my Western Resell or my Plexus, and I want to reach as many people as possible. Social media has opened up so many doors and so many opportunities for me to stay home with my daughter, while still providing for my family. And I feel like that for me, having to go through my followers and like get the creepers out of there, is worth it for me to be public so that I can just reach that many more people. So like I said, totally personal preference. You can still build a following with a private account, but it's much easier to get that engagement that you're going to want, if your account is public. So that would just be my recommendation.
Pretty good stuff.
And also, as far as getting hacked, I can't see whose name that is. It just says Zoom user.
Thank you.
But I change my Instagram password once every 6 months.
Hold on.
I also just make sure that I don't use like Instagram shop or things like that where I like have to put my information in. I also like, you can set your settings and messages. Like, so I encourage all of you guys, go into Instagram tonight and like mess around in your settings. Like you can do like, you can set it so like certain words from like messages are just automatically go into like your hidden, like you'll never see them. You don't get approved. They can't see that you see it. So like things like sugar daddy or drop your cash app or like things like that. Like, or can I paint a mural of your beautiful photo? That's a really common scam that's going around right now. Please don't ever give anyone your information on Instagram. I don't care if they say they're going to paint you a portrait and pay you for it, or I guarantee you it's all too good to be true. There's always a new scam. So if it seems weird, just block the person immediately. But like I said, I change my password once every 6 months just to be safe. Also, if you keep up with your email, Instagram will like update you if someone logs into your account. And if you can like switch your password within 24 hours and log them out of your account, you're pretty much safe. So you can take precautions. And I obviously am on my Instagram all the time, probably more than I'd like to admit, just because that's how I make money. But just keeping an eye on your stuff all the time. If something seems fishy, block, change password, do whatever you have to do. But that's what I do.
I'm like doing these tricks that she's sharing as we're listening.
I know there's also one where it says like Meta verified is like, hey, your account's going to get blocked if you don't provide us with all of your information. That's a scam. So yeah, there's little ones. I could write a book on social media tips and tricks that people have taught me. So sorry that I'm talking so much, you guys.
No, this is awesome. Super. This is exactly what this was great. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I learned a lot. I'll probably be rewatching this. Does anybody else have any questions before we close this out? Thank you. Let me check the.
I did.
Oh, okay, Jamie, go ahead. Oh, it's Leslie.
No, sorry. That we're like short on time. I just wanted to ask, like, how you said that you're on social media all the time, so you probably don't have any kind of balance of like how you balance your personal life with your social media, but like I don't know if anybody else struggles with this, but like I struggle so bad mentally being on social media. It often usually gets me into a very, very unhealthy headspace. And so I'm on and off of it. Oftentimes I have to delete the apps completely just because I usually get into bad headspaces, and I just have never been able to figure out how to utilize it as a tool in a healthy way without it becoming something unhealthy for me. So you have any
For
tips on
sure.
that?
And I am on it pretty often. Obviously, I have a baby, like I said, so her nap times are like my gold. Like I probably should be doing the laundry or cleaning my house, but I'm catching up on my Instagram because I try, when she's up and playing to not be facing my phone all the time. But me and Riley are driving somewhere, she falls asleep in the car, I'm on Instagram. And a lot of times, like we're still talking and I'm doing my little business on the side and stuff. So I don't want you guys to think that you have to be like balls to the walls all the time, have to devote your life to social media in order to be successful. I actually used to struggle a lot with social media as well. This is probably, I don't know if this is what like is hard for you, but for me, I started comparing my life to a lot of other people. And it's really, really easy to do that. I think that once I unfollowed people that I was like comparing myself to and like getting like genuinely jealous of, that helped me. And then I started looking at social media as a way to share my life. And not like just post the good stuff. It's like I was talking about earlier. It's like, sorry, my baby's right here. I don't know. 1 second. She just had it. I got to give my baby a bottle really quick. But once you make it about like, hey, I'm here to support other women.
Uh-oh. I think we lost her. She may have accidentally logged off, giving the baby a bottle. We'll
She's
give her.
had lots of good stuff to say. I appreciate it.
Yeah, she has. She may pop back on
Thank
here.
you.
Let's see if she pops back on.
Uh-huh. And
But
then this will
Jamie,
it's recording, so you'll be pairing it, Katie?
yeah, I will get it uploaded. It usually
Mhm.
takes me a little bit, like a day to get it
Mhm.
uploaded. But to answer
No
like something
worries.
I do with my social media is oh, she's back.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
I don't know what happened. Jamie called me and my baby needed a bottle and I don't know what happened, but here I am. But
No, that's
sorry,
okay.
I don't want to interrupt anybody if anyone else is talking.
Nope, you're good. Go on with it.
No, I'll just kind of like conclude that by like social media it's easy to fall into that trap of like comparing yourself to other people. But I think like finding your confidence and like being able to find like who you are, like social media has totally helped me figure out who I am, like my style, like what I like to see, like who I like to be around. And if you can get on there strictly with the mindset of like, hey, like I'm here to make money and help other people, I feel like it's easier to not do like the mindless scrolling, getting into like, oh my gosh, this girl is literally so pretty. Like this girl has this, like these people live in this giant house and have an indoor arena, like all this stuff. Like, I think if you're going onto social media with a purpose and saying like, all right, I want to post about Plexus today. Like, hey, I want to show this really cool outfit that I got today, this and that, and not that mindless scrolling, that 100% helps you keep that mental headspace where you're not just like falling into the hole. Like if I'm up at 3 a.m, I'm working on vintage. I'm not mindlessly scrolling. I have stayed off TikTok quite a bit because TikTok is one of those things that sucks me into a black hole. So if you've ever sent me a message on TikTok, sorry, I've probably never seen it. I literally go post my outfit and get off because it sucks me in and I find myself mindlessly scrolling, mindlessly like, where am I? I'm down a rabbit hole 4.5 hours later, it's 5 a.m, and I'm like, what the crap? So if you can literally go on with the intention of like, hey, I'm going to look at it like a business. I'm going to set 1 hour today to work on my Plexus, whether it's create Lightroom presets and then post a cute story and engage like, hey guys, here's what I'm doing for the week. Like, here's how Plexus is going to help me get through this week. Get off. Like if you know that that's something that is a struggle for you right now until you can figure out like how to balance like, hey, I love myself and I'm getting on here to support other women and better my life and my business. Like I totally get it. It's a trap that we all fall into and it comes in waves, just like your Plexus success. Sometimes I get so burnt out on social media. I've told Riley, I've told my friends, like, dude, I don't want to post. I feel like I have to always be buying new outfits because people are expecting this of me. Like, you've got to be able to say, like, you know what? I'm here. I want to make a living doing this because it allows me time freedom, which is the coolest thing ever. You can't put a price tag on that. I'm going to act like it's a business. I'm not going to act like it's just a mindless game that I'm playing. I'm treating it like my business. And I think that's really going to help you if you treat it like, hey, this is not my 9 to 5, but it is my job. Like I got to show up, do my shit, and then get off when I realize that it's not serving me anymore. I hope that helps.
Yeah, that was great advice. That was super good advice. And I love what you
Kinda.
said, like, just have fun with it. Like, I think we overthink it so much and like just
Totally.
find the fun in it. I know that I'm the same way, but once I'm like, you know what? I want to post a reel about this today. It's a lot more fun. Or I want to put this picture up of me. So Taylor,
Totally.
you knocked it out of the park. We are so thankful for you. I think that Jamie just texted me and said her Wi-Fi is not letting her on, so she'll be watching the recording. And I know a lot of other girls will be too. I will make sure to get it posted ASAP, but this was very helpful. I think I speak for all of us when I say we took lots of notes. We will be implementing, but let me close this out.
Awesome.
I'm gonna stop recording.